Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. This is Jack. Welcome to another video in a week concerning the Jews. I have no idea what's on the docket for today, but Jack, what you got for us?
Okay, we're talking about the Goldstein Massacre. Now, this is a massacre where a Jew is going to massacre some of the goy, some of the cattle.
Okay.
And this is going to become a celebration type thing where people come in pilgrimage to the grave of Goldstein.
Because he killed
His heroism and mass murder of civilians.
Odd. Okay.
So I just think it's showing the Talmud in action.
Yeah.
You believe in the Talmud, this is what ends up happening.
Right.
It's a disgusting perversion of morality. So I'm going to tell you the story real quick of what happened. Now, this is going to happen on Purim morning, and Purim is a Jewish holiday in March-ish, depends on their calendar because it varies, which celebrates the rescue of the Jews from Haman as described by Esther.
Okay.
On Purim morning, February 25th, I told you March, but it's some days it falls different. February 25th, 1994, Baruch Goldstein walked into the Muslim prayer hall at the Tomb of the Patriarchs in Hebron. Okay, the Cave of the Patriarchs, it's called the Tomb of the Patriarchs. It's called, in the Bible, it's called the Cave of Machpelah in the actual Bible. And it's the home of the Abrahami Mosque.
Okay.
It's an important place. So he walks in there wearing his IDF reservist uniform, was carrying a Glylon assault rifle and 140 rounds, weak sauce, of ammunition. He opened fire into the crowd, killing 29 people and injuring 125 until he was overwhelmed and beaten to death by the survivors. He was reloading.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, I could just say, practice your... Don't do this. But I'm just saying, you haven't practiced, you're in the IDF. And you don't practice, you can't do the, what is it, 2 point, what is it for a fast reload?
Or just bring a drum magazine so there's less reload.
But don't actually do this, and that's not advised.
Right.
This is trash what happened.
Yes.
These people were all in the prayer position.
Oh, no. That's so
trash. Do not think I advocate for anything like this. So let's talk about Goldstein.
So you're talking about like on the mats face down?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my gosh. So terrible.
Okay. Goldstein was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1956 to an Orthodox family. He studied at Yeshiva of Flatbush, Yeshiva University, and at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, where he trained as a physician. Yeshiva is a private Orthodox Jewish university.
Okay.
It's just for Orthodox Jews, but maybe non-Jews are allowed, but that's what it's for. He was a member of the Jewish Defense League, which was an extremist Jewish organization which advocated the use of violence to combat anti-Semitism, and a disciple of its leader, Meir Kahane. I don't know how to do that. After immigrating to Israel, Goldstein served as a doctor in the Israeli army. He settled in Kiryat Arba, a Jewish settlement bordering Hebron, and continued to work as an emergency physician. What do you think about the Jewish Defense League? They're an extremist Jewish organization which advocates the use of violence to combat anti-Semitism.
I feel like it's just one letter away from our Jewish Defense League, but it's called what?
That's funny.
ADL?
But imagine if you advocated for using violence against anti-Semites. You mean everyone.
Right.
That just means take away all the cattle.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
The goy is what I'm referring to there. So, following the massacre, the press reported that Goldstein's anti-Arab views had led him to refuse to treat non-Jewish patients while on duty in Lebanon in the early 1980s in direct breach of orders, and later as a civilian doctor in Hebron.
He's committed.
Yeah, first do no harm. Despite this, Goldstein received 2 citations from the Israeli army in 1993 in recognition of his medical work, and in January 1994, he was recommended for promotion from the rank of captain to major.
Wow. Pays off to not take care of the goy.
Just to be a terrible person.
Yeah.
Terrible. Let's make a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
That's what people are going to think after this. So, there's a conspiracy. I don't really want to talk about it. I think it's nonsense. I think the story itself is true. And I think that there's this conspiracy and it involves grenades. There's no evidence that grenades were used. And it's just to take away like, well, maybe it wasn't this. But this is terrible.
Yeah.
What if he was on orders from the actual IDF government to do this? That would be even worse.
Right.
But I don't need to promote that conspiracy.
Right.
I just give you the actual Wikipedia facts. And it's disgusting. So Let's talk about the policy. In Hebron itself, that's where this happened, the government adopted a policy of legal and geographical separation between the city's 450 Jewish settlers and its 120,000 Palestinian residents. 450 Jewish,
Yeah.
120,000 Palestinian. This policy included the establishments of checkpoints within the city and curfews aimed at the Palestinian population. Checkpoints to monitor the 120,000 people to protect the 450 people.
Right.
Curfew for 120,000.
It's their city.
It's like 4 people moving into America and being like,
Right.
all of you lock down.
Right.
We
Well,
don't want to be hurt.
We're here.
Yeah. The heck. Okay. So here's the backlash from the Goldstein Massacre.
Okay.
Angry mobs rioted across the West Bank and Gaza, leading to the deaths of 26 Palestinians and 9 Israelis. The rioting spread to Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's the most important one. In Jerusalem. The most important one in Jerusalem. Palestinian youths aimed rocks at policemen stationed below the Temple Mount, and hundreds of rioters stormed the Mughrabi Gate in an attempt to attack Jewish worshippers at the Western Wall. The police responded by firing rubber bullets and tear gas to drive back the crowd. So, Palestinians weren't happy. Funeral. Goldstein's Jerusalem's funeral was attended by more than 1,000 people. Goldstein was eulogized by well-known rabbis and settlement movement leaders. After his coffin was brought under tight security to Kiryat Arba, a second series of eulogies was delivered, among others by Rabbi Dov Lior, who some years previously had infamously called for Arab prisoners to be used in medical experiments. That Rabbi Lior said of Goldstein, quote, "He was full of love for fellow human beings. He dedicated himself to helping others." Israeli daily Yediot Ahronot reported that as they waited for the arrival of the coffin, people in the crowd were heard to comment, "What a hero, a righteous person. He did it on behalf of all of us." Let me have a little break right here.
Okay.
So I was looking for videos on the Talmud.
Okay.
And I found this video called The Talmud Exposed by Dr. William Pierce. Love Dr. William Pierce. He's the founder of the National Alliance and the National Vanguard. So he's dead now. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind us using this. I got a link to it. As long as you're not on YouTube, I've got a link to that. So if you're on YouTube, go to Rumble or BitChute, find the video. And I got a link to that video, which is on Rumble. And I'm going to play a clip of that video where they're interviewing random Jews in the street. I'm just going to steal it from Dr. William Pierce. I guarantee you he doesn't mind. And I'm going to clip in some, they asked the local citizens what they think of Goldstein. Okay. So here's that part.
Do you consider Dr. Goldstein a martyr, a hero?
Yes. Yes.
You consider him a hero?
I most certainly do.
I was proud to know him, and I think he's one of the finest people I'd ever met.
There's no question about it, he was a great man. There's no question about it.
The most upsetting part of this whole thing isn't that the Arabs were killed. It was that Dr. Baruch Goldstein was killed.
He did a tremendous deed, an act of self-sacrifice, and to try to save the Jewish people. They deserved it, and they got what they deserved.
Okay, so Goldstein's grave then became a tourist site.
Okay.
So it was first a tourist site for I got a link in the description, which is interesting on this. First it was for the far right, but then centrists started to come in. So it became more mainstream to come. Yigal Amir attended the funeral of Goldstein, visited the grave, and then said, quote, "After Goldstein, it occurred to me that Rabin should be taken down. He assassinated Yitzhak Rabin, the 5th Prime Minister of Israel, on November 5th, 1995.
Okay.
Goldstein made this nationalist guy, extremist, decide to assassinate a prime minister of. So Goldstein's got wide-ranging effects. Here's another one that's funny. None of it's funny. Itamar Ben-Gvir, the current minister of national security since 2022. His wife told reporters that their first date was at the site of the grave, saying, quote, "We wanted to meet in a special place. And what could be more special than Meir Kahane Park in Kiryat Arba next to the grave of Baruch Goldstein?" That's Itamar Ben-Gvir, current Minister of National Security since 2022. That's his wife saying that to a reporter.
Yeah.
I got articles linked below, but like tens of thousands of people have come to this.
Yeah. I'm so... This has to be the difference between what Western people are taught morality-wise and what the Talmud teaches. I can't even think of a situation where I would go celebrate someone slaughtering a different kind of people for when they're praying. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's no situation that I can imagine that being acceptable.
I could think of some.
Okay.
If we were in Red Dawn,
Okay.
and the China, and no, but civilians though,
And they're praying.
and they're praying, yeah, because if
They're
if
non-combatants.
okay, I can't relate because I was going to try to say some big military victory
Yeah.
where a group of 3 people
That's
took out
different.
50 soldiers, but then
That's
all got
different.
killed by a helicopter.
Yeah.
and then you go to their gravesite. Yeah, it's different. Yes, yeah.
And to be celebrated as a hero that much,
Civilians.
it's just, I cannot understand the mindset.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've got like the pilots of the planes that are attacking Gaza right now.
Okay.
If they have like an estimated civilian casualty number,
Okay.
and you're just trying to get number 1, first place.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like this one guy's like, you've only killed maybe 40 citizens.
Right.
I'm at 732.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it sounds, we're laughing because it's absurd, but it's absurd to us.
it's absurd to us. But you've got to understand that this is the mentality of the people.
Right. Because we're nothing. We're not something that needs to be preserved or anything
Right.
to them.
It was in You Are Amalek, the video.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're on Rumble, I'll post another private link to that because we can't do it publicly. But if you follow our private links when we do a video that talks about it. But in that video, they said, when you look at a regular human being and the distance between them and an animal, and then from a Jewish perspective, you look at a Jew and the distance, and a distance between the goy, it's farther than the distance between a regular human being and an animal.
A Goyan animal.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
when you're looking at, okay, a dog is this far below me, they think they're more than that much higher than you.
We're closer to the dog than we are to them.
That's a good way
Right.
of putting it. Closer
Yeah.
to the dog than to them. Not a dog, but closer.
Right.
Just more like a cow.
Yeah.
Kind of useful sometimes if you serve the
Sure.
master. Anyways. So what do you think? I just think it's a fascinating story we should know about. It's about psychology,
100%.
mentality. It's about morality.
But it shows you what we're dealing with.
Right.
What the world is dealing with. Yes.
And so in this case, I just want to put like a little something on addendum. And I want to say, we're not talking about people of Hebrew blood right here. And we're
Okay.
not talking about Israelis. What
Okay.
we're talking about is religious Jews.
Who could also be in those other two categories.
They could also be one or
Right.
the other. But it could be an African man
Totally.
who reads the Talmud and who believes he's the chosen. It could be a white man.
Yeah.
But this is a religious subject we're talking
Yes.
about right here. It's not a policy of Israel. It's not because something his blood made him do it. It's because of his religious cultural influences, which
Right.
is evil based on our understanding of morality.
Right. It's very subjective.
And we're just right, though. Because
For us.
they shoot people who are praying. I'm not
Right.
Islamic. I've said bad things about Islam before. I've also said good things about Islam. But don't shoot them while they're praying.
I completely agree, but if you had a Talmudic believing Jew sitting here, he's as passionate about his stance that they did nothing wrong.
If you are one, I'd love to have you on. Love to. Because if I do that chart and then I put the animal here
Uh-huh.
and then I put me up here, this Goldstein guy's going below the dog.
Right.
As far as dogs inherently don't bite children.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot children who are on the mat. Do you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah, totally.
Relative distance and value. And I'm not talking about Hebrews and Israelis. I'm talking about the religious Jew who follows their thing,
Yeah.
not the one who just says it. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, it's very eye opening from my perspective. What do you guys think?
Have you heard of this before?
Yeah, definitely. I've never even heard the term Goldstein Massacre before.
I hadn't until I seen that William Pierce video.
Okay, yeah, amazing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you have any more interesting little historical things that kind of reinforce, what we view as the religious Jews believe? We'd love to have that kind of stuff. It's all helps build the case to someone who's never heard this before. Let us know in the comments below, and hopefully you're enjoying Jew Week, and we'll see you next time.